Hey there, horror movie tea sippers.
The following podcast episode will contain spoilers for the movie we are about to review. If you have not seen the movie and do not wish to have anything ruined prematurely, please do not continue to watch or listen until you have seen the movie.
And welcome to the Horror Movie Tea Podcast. Today we are covering P2. But before we go into the review, let's grab our cups and talk about tea. So, I am drinking the Harney & Sons Fine Teas, the decaf hot cinnamon tea. It's got decaf black tea, orange peel, natural and artificial cinnamon flavors, cinnamon, cloves, and I also put creamed cinnamon honey. So I am just
Yum yum.
punching my sinuses with cinnamon.
And mine, just from smelling it. Jesus. So I am drinking Republic of Tea's Comfort and Joy tea. I was feeling festive. It sounded good. I needed to have some. So it's the holiday spice blend. It has black tea leaves blended with spices and fruit. So this is the one that has pieces in it. Oh, no. This is black tea, cinnamon, natural flavor, cloves, licorice root, and apple bits. I didn't have to say pieces 20 times.
Yeah, that was the peach Bellini.
Right.
Yes.
Okay.
But that's a good one. Yeah. But thank you to the Republic of Tea for allowing us to continue to do what we love. And for our tea sippers out there, brew yourself a cup of tea, sit back, relax, and we hope you enjoy the review. So P2. I'll just be straightforward and to the point. This woman works in this building, and it's Christmas Eve, and she's about to leave, but she finds that her car won't start, and find out that the parking lot security person trapped her there. And so the whole movie is her trying to get out. Yeah.
That's it. That's the movie.
Yep. That's it. So for entertainment, it's one of those movies where I did enjoy watching it, and it really does a pretty good job with like tension and things like that. But it's like once you kind of know how it ends, you don't necessarily feel compelled to watch it again. I mean, the only thing I can think of wanting to watch it again is to watch the beginning to see if there's any additional things that he did that maybe I didn't notice.
You mean like messing with her car?
Well, I mean, of course, he did mess with her car.
Yeah.
It's like that was, like, after she's kidnapped, I was like, oh, yeah, he has a reason why her car wouldn't start. I think I'll give this a 7.25. But the one thing that I really liked about this movie is the main character, for the most part, wasn't stupid. Like, she was trying to play the game, and whenever she figured out that the game wasn't working, she changed up her strategy. And like her locking herself in the elevator, even though she is trapped, it's like, you know, she's bound to, like, hopefully someone will come by or something like that. Mm-hmm. And like that was really brilliant. But then how he got her out was really brilliant too. Dangerous though, could have electrocuted her. Yeah. But like both of them were like very smart, and it was very much a cat and mouse game, where both of them were giving their A game. Because there's so many times where movies like this, it's like the main person that's getting kidnapped is being an absolute idiot, or while they're trying to get away,
the dumbest moves ever.
Yes. And so it's like they essentially dumb down the main character's choices in order to make the kidnapper more powerful. But no, it's so much more freaky when both of them are making really smart choices And
They're really evenly matched.
yes, and so you don't. I mean, I kind of assumed that she would get away. It's like, how is the movie going to end? But it's like, if they would have done like a twist where he ended up winning, I would have, but that would have been believable to me. Now he wouldn't have been able to get away with it.
Oh no, definitely not.
But that's for the realism. But, like, the whole thing, like, with her, like, trying to get, like, the cell phone signal, like, all of the things, like, they set this movie up really perfectly to where it's, like, we all know that in a lot of parking garages, depending on, like, how deep it goes, you do have issues with cell phone service. So that explained why she couldn't immediately call for help. And then, you know, they went through the moves of her, like, trying to figure out how to get signal. And it's just, like, each scenario was so perfect. And I was yelling at the screen when the cops were driving around and she was like trying to get out of the trunk, and she was genuinely trying and doing a fantastic job of like trying to get out. Honestly, my biggest complaint, and this was probably for the realism, but the cops, of how like they handled the situation, that was the only scene that I'm like, I mean, yeah, but it's like, what could they do? They didn't know. But yeah,
we'll get there.
Yeah. But as far as like entertainment wise,
they didn't really make them incompetent.
Yeah.
Which I appreciate.
Yeah. They didn't make them absolutely stupid. Mm-hmm. It's just like you wanted her to get out of that situation, so you're wishing that they would have done more. But it's like, in actuality, if they have no reason, I mean, they got a call though. But okay, we'll
get there. Mm-hmm.
Realism. But as far as like for entertainment wise, this movie is definitely very entertaining because it does a great job with building up tension. It keeps you on the edge. It keeps you guessing, because there's times where you're like, oh, she's got this. She's going to get away. And then he circles back and comes and brings out something else.
Moves and counter moves.
Yes. It's just, it's so good. It's so good. I felt
freaky chess game.
Yes. I did feel bad that she had to kill the dog. But to be fair, she didn't have a choice.
Yeah.
And, you know, she could have potentially killed the dog when it was barking at her and giving away her position while she was trying to get, I forgot what she was trying to grab in that particular scene. I think it was like keys or something, or the key card. Mm-hmm. But she chose not to. So she didn't kill the dog until she absolutely had to. But
when it was actually attacking her.
Yeah. Which that, honestly, whenever he did that, that's absolutely terrifying. Like, could you imagine?
That would be terrifying.
Yeah.
I did count off a little for the dog death, though.
But yeah, definitely a very solid movie, a very intense movie. A lot of like good twists and turns that don't feel like they're gimmicks. Like it feels like it's organic with the movement of the movie and like the different scenes, and a satisfying ending.
Mm-hmm. I have some things to say about realism, but for entertainment, I give it a 7.5.
Okay.
Again, it would have been higher if not for the dog death. I appreciate that while the cops weren't in the movie for long, the time that they were in there, you could tell that they were stressed and overworked. And I mean, the holidays are ridiculous for police as well, and first responders. Like, they get call after call after call. They're in New York. It's busy as hell. They just want to be home.
And they showed them doing their due diligence.
Yes. They could have just written it off and said the security guard said it was all clear, everything's fine. But no, they did actually drive all around the place.
Yes.
Trying to see if there was anything out of place.
And it added to the suspense of the scene.
Yes.
Because if they would have just left, we would have been pissed off. But the fact that they went around and she's trying her darndest to get through that trunk, it just created a great scene.
Yes. You could tell also that they were tired and didn't want to, like, pick too into stuff. Because they looked at the pallets in the parking garage where the dude was killed. And they were like, that's kind of weird, but they didn't look too into it. I'm sure they had gotten many other calls too, and they didn't want to spend too much time there if they didn't have to, especially if they didn't immediately see anything off or weird. You could tell they kind of got a weird feeling from the dude. He was a little sus. But he's the kind of guy that puts out an awkward vibe anyway.
Yeah.
So it didn't seem like there were any actual emergencies there to them. And he started playing music right when they were about to go by the car that she was in. So they couldn't hear anything, any noise that she was making, which was really smart of him, but really frustrating to watch.
Yes, and I feel like the cop should have found that suspicious too.
Yeah. But again, he's an awkward dude, and he was trying to liven up and all. Like, they had Christmas lights in that office and everything, and he was he seemed like he was bored and just trying to kind of enjoy what little bit of festivity he had.
Yeah.
So, I get it. But I appreciate that they didn't make them completely incompetent and just leave. They did try. There were explanations for other deaths and things. It wasn't random. The moves that each of them did, for the most part, made sense. She couldn't just go to one of the upper levels. She had to get the key card from him. Like, there was a reason why she wasn't trying different things on upper levels. She literally couldn't get out of the stupid parking garage.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which makes sense. That being said, there were some things that took me out of the movie experience a little bit. That are just no's. And there were some movies got a movie moments and things that they kind of ignored and like tried to shift your attention away from. That we will get to in the realism in a moment. So, but it is a very entertaining movie. I feel like it's kind of a hidden gem because I had never even heard of it until it just popped up on a list for me at one point, and I gave it a shot. So if you haven't heard of it, I'm not surprised, but it's worth a watch. Mm-hmm. Go see it.
Yeah, definitely.
So if you're watching this review before seeing it, why? Quit it with the spoilers. Go watch it. Rude.
So for realism, realism's a toughie.
I'm going to break your brain with one thing.
Oh, no.
Uh-huh.
Do you want to bring it up?
Mm-mm.
No, you want to save it? Mm-hmm. Okay.
Because it's going to just completely shoot a giant gaping hole in the movie.
Oh, no. Well, it's like, to me, there's multiple factors where it's like, first, the security guard being so obsessed with her that he's going to go through all of these lengths. And
that I can see. It's rare, but it happens.
Yeah.
It's creepy and scary.
Well, but it's like kidnapping her in the actual security office. That's the thing that's kind of like dumb to me, because not only are there cameras everywhere, but what's his end game? Like, what is he planning to do? Because he'll probably have to move her at some point. But it's like, so why not like figure out a way to like kidnap her where like the cameras are like not recording, because since he's a security guard, he will know where all of the cameras are. So if he kidnaps her at a blind spot and then brings her to a completely different location, she's going to be way more helpless, and there won't be video proof of what he's done. To me, the biggest thing is, on the one hand, the cameras helped him figure out where she was before she was like destroying them, but at the same time, it's also videotaping proof of him kidnapping her and also murdering.
Proof that he has access to.
Yeah.
To be able to erase.
That's true. But if the police, doing an investigation, they're going to find that extremely sus.
If they do an investigation. He had plenty of time.
To, like, clean up and stuff, you're saying?
If it went according to his plan. He had plenty of time.
Yeah. Because I'm thinking about the boss's car, but it's like he could potentially get rid of the car, but it's like there'd be street cameras. Huh?
The coworker. He wasn't a boss.
Oh, okay. The coworker. But it's like, even if he, like, went to move that car to get rid of it, there's still, like, cameras on the streets that would have picked up that license plate and just...
Potentially.
There's so, especially with it, because I'm pretty sure it's in New York.
Yeah.
Yeah, like, there's cameras everywhere in New York. And I mean, in most cities, to be fair. But especially in New York, of all places. So just the whole likelihood of him getting away with it. Now, you know, I feel like there are cases where people are just so obsessed with, like, getting the person that they don't think about how they can avoid getting caught. And so...
Well, he wasn't exactly in a rational state of mind anyway.
Yeah, that's true.
Let's be honest.
He just wanted
here.
her.
Let's be fair.
Yeah.
And with stalking cases like that, generally, if their affections aren't reciprocated, it leads to death anyway. Often murder-suicide, but not always.
Yeah.
Usually just murder.
Yeah. I did appreciate the fact that she removed her high heels before trying to run.
Yes! Thank you!
And her actually, like, instead of keeping the handcuffs behind her back, she actually, like, shimmied her legs so that way she could have them at the front, because that definitely helps the mobility.
Yes, it does.
I feel like when she drove, she has handcuffs, so she can only go so many ways. But it's like, she kind of kept her hands up here. I feel like having it at the bottom of the wheel would have given her a lot better control.
Oh, yeah, definitely. But she was panicked.
Yeah.
And a lot of people drive with their hands a little higher on the wheel, so I get it.
Yeah.
But you're right, I agree. You'd most likely have more control on the bottom. But
yeah. It's like there's other things that definitely, like, bring to question the realism, but those were the things that stuck out the most to me. I think probably a 2.5. Because it's like, it's just the whole situation is, like, really far out there. Like, yes, it is in the realm of possibility, but it's like, yeah. Oh, I guess I mean, this is more of a wish than a realism thing, but I kind of wish or hope that the cops would have been a little bit more thorough. But as you said, they probably had a ton of calls. They're probably overworked, exhausted, and they just wanted to get out of there. So at least they did their due diligence.
Security guard even said, we haven't had anything weird.
Yeah. Yeah.
So they did more than a lot of people would do in that situation, and they drove all around just to double check.
Yeah. Yeah.
So they didn't check any of the offices above, but... So I'll give it a 2. I still feel like that's a little generous. But the rest of the movie, because it was so plausible, it makes me feel a little better about giving it that 2. Why didn't she just go out an emergency exit when she couldn't get out the front doors to the taxi? Buildings like that are they're required to have at least one emergency exit.
And the way that emergency exits work is you can leave the building, but you just can't go back in.
Yes.
And that's why it's still secure.
Yes.
Oh.
It would set off an alarm, too.
That's probably why she didn't use it, is because she didn't want to set off any alarms.
Yeah, but if she had, like, she was really wanting to get out of there and the guy was kind of creeping her out anyway, and nobody else was responding, then if the cops did go there, usually they call in that situation anyway, then the security could have picked up the phone and said, all clear. We just had someone that couldn't get out the front, we weren't there at the time, So they left.
True.
Also, they're in New York City on Christmas Eve. They showed that it was snowing outside. It's ridiculously freaking cold.
Yeah.
They didn't even show their breath in the parking garage. Underground. Where it would be absolutely frigid.
And, I mean, they did kind of hint that she was cold, but I feel like they could have done a little bit more to show how cold it was.
Yes. Yes. She would be losing coordination. Like, her hands and feet would be completely numb.
We should have looked up how cold it normally is in New York.
I should have looked up how early hypothermia would have set in. Especially with the freaking nightie that she was wearing, basically. Yeah. He had changed her into a dress, but it was so freaking thin. Mm-hmm. It was covering almost nothing. Like, no. She would have been freezing her ass off the entire time. And at the very least, we would have seen their breath. He was wearing a coat a lot of the time when he was out of the office, which was fairly accurate. But she had nothing. Yeah. She would have been freezing. No. Especially after she got drenched in the elevator. Absolutely not.
So I looked it up. Mm-hmm. And the New York average for December is, during that time of day, it would probably be closer to the low, which is about 31 degrees.
Yeah, that's below freezing. Mm-hmm. Fahrenheit.
Yeah. Yes.
Read up units.
Which is, I think that'd be 0 degrees.
Close to 0. Yeah.
Celsius. Mm-hmm. Fahrenheit and Celsius has such weird conversions.
Yes, yeah, it really does. But regardless, she would have been freezing her ass off. And would likely have gone hypothermic at some point.
Yeah, I'm looking up how...
how quickly?
Okay, so this is like negative 50 degrees. It takes as little as 5 minutes.
Well,
so
yeah.
at 30... Okay, but I would assume that, like, being generous is saying at below 0. So, but is that Celsius or Fahrenheit? CBS. So I would...
We have questions.
I think we can at least say that an hour-ish would be probably reasonable.
Yeah. I don't care how much she's running to keep up her body temp. Yeah, no. That's not happening. And she wasn't running the full time.
Well, especially, like, since she got so wet.
Yes.
And then she was back out.
That makes it worse.
Yeah.
So much worse. Yeah. Also, the scene where she was running away and the Rottweiler was chasing her, she would not have gotten that far before the dog caught her. No. Unless she's Usain freaking Bolt. She's not getting that far away from that dog. No way in hell. I know it was a movie's got a movie moment, but no. Also, the jump scare with the dog when she thought she killed it the first time.
That was dumb.
That was stupid and unnecessary.
Like, what dog is going to go back to attacking?
No.
After, it's like...
No, when she hit it in the face at one point, it likely would have yelped and run off. Likely. Not always.
Yeah.
If it kept attacking, then okay, yeah. But... because some dogs, it can make them angrier.
Well, and especially for, like, a security dog that's trained to take people down. Like, I bet they're probably trained out of running away.
Probably. But still, the jump scare was unnecessary.
Yeah, it was dumb. I rolled my eyes, honestly.
Yeah. Why didn't she kick out one of the lights in the trunk that she was in?
Yeah, because that is a thing where it's like you're supposed to kick out the light and then, like, wave your hand out.
Or your foot, whichever one you get out, yeah. Yeah. It seemed like an older car, so it likely didn't have the emergency release that all the newer cars have. Like, that's a feature. It's a required feature.
No more trunk kidnappings.
Yeah. Unless it's disabled.
Or you're tied up or something.
Yeah. Well, even tied up. Depending on how you're tied up.
Yeah, it depends on how you're tied up.
Yeah. But, yeah. Yeah. So it didn't likely have that feature, but she should have still been able to kick out or push out one of the rear taillights and stick a limb out and be like, hey, there's something wrong here. Some help would be nice. So, yeah. Those were the main things that I had.
Yeah, like, I feel like this is definitely a movie to watch. It is a very good, tense movie with a lot of good twists and turns.
Yeah.
But thank you, everyone, for joining us today, and let us know what you thought of the movie. If you'd like to recommend a movie, game, or tea, you can leave us a comment or join our Discord server. And if you'd like to keep up to date with our content, you can find our link tree listed below.
And if you'd like to support us monetarily, we have our Teespring and our PayPal donate button available. We also have our affiliate link with Republic of Tea. It does not affect the price of the tea. It just allows us to continue to do what we love. And you can find all of the sites mentioned linked below. But until the next time, guys, stay safe and stay spoopy.
Bye!